now that we're about halfway rocked in on the pond, I typically like to start attaching our liner to the actual skimmer box. This will consist of us cutting out a hole on the liner. We will install this faceplate to the skimmer box. Inside here we usually have our flapper weir, and that allows the leaves to come inside of the skimmer box as it collects. But we're going to be attaching this to the liner and then bolting that to the actual skimmer box itself. It involves a sealant and a couple of select tools that I like to keep handy for this job. We'll also be performing the waterproof sealant itself with a Firestone lap sealant. The actual skimmer box kit from Aquascape does provide black silicone, which can be used as well. So the first step with actually installing the liner to the actual skimmer itself, you're going to want a clean sponge and a clean bucket of water. First step is to clean down the liner where you're going to be attaching the faceplate to, and you're also going to want to clean the face of your skimmer box as well. So once you know that's clean, it's also good to keep paper towels handy, because this liner has to be dry as well as clean before you can actually apply it to your skimmer. Have to wait a few moments for that to dry up. So the inside is not really as important as keeping the outside clean, because we're not really attaching anything to the inside. But we definitely need a clean, dry surface on the outside for our lap sealant to adhere to, and that is what will get us that waterproof sealing. I like to get a good idea of matching up where the liner is going to sit on the skimmer box before I go cutting holes. The idea here is we're going to have to take this faceplate here and cut a square hole in the liner so that we can then attach it, poke holes through for our screws, apply our sealant, and secure the liner. This is a very tricky installation usually. Simple for us because we've done so many, but this is definitely one of those parts to the installation process of a pond that you do not want to make any mistakes on, because if you cut the wrong place in the liner, you could end up with a more serious problem that might require patching. So it's always good to double check. So sometimes it's good to keep a piece of chalk with you. I kind of just formed out a little square with my finger here, and we're going to want to cut that square exactly to size as it is on the skimmer faceplate. We're just going to do a quick test fitting here, make sure that that cut that we've made is big enough, which it appears to be. Now we're just going to pull that out very delicately. We don't want to lose our place there. I'm going to give this a quick drying off again one more time and double check that this area right around our faceplate opening is most important, and what we need to be dry and clean. That looks pretty clean to me for the most part. So your skimmer should come with a pack of at least 12 screws in it. There should always be some additional ones left over. Sometimes it's good practice to actually swap out these ones for stainless steel ones, but these will do for now. So now that we know our liner behind the faceplate here and the actual face of the skimmer box is clean and dry, our next step is to do a dry fit. You're going to want a sharp tool just like this one, just a nice poker stick, so that we can poke holes through the two top corner holes on your faceplate here. It's usually the way I start off with it. Line it up with your holes on the actual skimmer box where your grommets are. And I like to just get these two screws started right here. You're actually going to be poking holes right through the liner here. which is why it's very important to make sure that you've lined this up with the skimmer box, because your holes cannot be off. So now that we've got our 2 starter screws ready, we can carefully set this down in a place where it's not going to get dirty or wet. Now we're ready for our lap sealant. So we take our lap sealant here and we go right over top with a nice thick bead right over top of our 12 skimmer screw holes. Very carefully. Remember, we have our 2 starter screws here, so we just need to line those right up with those holes that we made. Now that I can feel that those screws have gone into the existing grommets on the skimmer, take our screwdriver. Should start seeing some lap sealant actually pop out as you tighten the screws on your faceplate. Then we take our poker again, and I like to poke the rest of the holes out. We'll take the rest of our screws here, and we'll fasten them through our liner with the pre-poked holes, and just work our way around the faceplate. Now you can see our faceplate and liner is fully attached, and if you look even behind the liner, you should be able to see some of our sealant here peeking out a little bit. That means that we have our screws on tight enough, and that's actually our waterproof seal right there. So now we know that this will hold water, no problem at all. Now I can finish rocking in the face and disguising this skimmer so that we don't see it, and blend it into the rest of the pond. You can also see that our sealant penetrated through the inside as well. I usually like to put a bead of lap sealant around our close off valve here. This little cap off valve is used when you can't put an overflow in because you don't have the room for it.